Hello and welcome to another Ice Tech FAQ from Manitowoc Ice. My name is Josh Klepadlo. I'm a technical trainer, and today we have a countertop nugget and water dispenser that we're going to take a look at two different scenarios. We have the first scenario set up to where the machine will not dispense either ice or water, and then we're going to take a look at a machine that will not stop dispensing ice or water. I've already gone ahead and taken off the panels that we'll need in order to access the electrical control section of this machine today. I'll leave a link in the description below for the video showing panel removal on this machine. We're going to be needing a voltmeter set to the ohm continuity position. First thing we're going to do is take our meter and check and make sure that it's working properly. As you can hear by the beep and see from the 0 ohms of resistance reading on the screen, our meter's working properly. We're then going to take our two black wires for the trigger to the control board, and we're going to probe into these on the connector end and then activate the sensor in the front and see if we have continuity through the relay. I'm going to now go and place my hand in front of the sensor on the front as if it was a cup, and you hear the beep and see the closed circuit. At this point, we know our touchless sensor is working, as well as our touchless sensor control board, and we're getting the trigger up to this dispense board, telling the dispense board, dispense some water or some ice, whatever mode we're in. For today's example, since the activation is working properly, that would let us know that we have a failed dispense board. So let's say we did not have good continuity through this trigger wire back to the dispense control board, and we needed to now check the touchless sensor in the front. You need to remove this front panel here. You'll do that by removing the ice dispense chute, loosening up the two wing nuts, pulling the water dispense line up just a little bit, and then there's a 5/16 screw on each outer edge. Once you have that loosened up, you can work the panel out and gain access to the control circuitry for the touchless sensor. So now we're taking a look from the back side of the front cover. You'll see the touchless sensor, the touchless sensor control board, as well as my multimeter set up still on resistance continuity. What we're going to be checking now is whether or not the touchless sensor needs to be replaced, or if we have a control board issue because let's say we're not getting the continuity back to the dispense board. So the steps to do this is we're going to unplug the 3-wire harness here. And on this control board, you will see it written +5, SIG, and ground. I'm just going to take a small jumper and jumper the SIG and +5 together and see if I now get continuity up to my dispense board. As you can hear from my meter, we are getting continuity now. So the issue now, since we are getting continuity with the input to this board jumpered out, would be this touchless sensor would need to be replaced. If I jumpered the +5 and the signal together and did not get continuity up to the dispense control board, we would have a failed touchless sensor control board that would need to be replaced. Now let's take a look at a machine that will not stop dispensing. Whether it's dispensing water or ice, the procedure is going to be the same. If the machine is dispensing water and about to overflow the pan, the first thing, disconnect the water line to the machine. This will stop the incoming water and stop the overflow. So now we're taking a look at the dispense control board. The first thing that I like to do when I'm in this situation is disconnect the trigger wire from the board and see if the dispensing stops. If the dispensing does not stop, then you're going to have a shorted relay on the dispense board. Your diagnostic steps are over. Go ahead and replace the board. In this case, the dispensing did stop. So now we're going to be diagnosing an issue with either the touchless sensor or the control board for the touchless sensor. We're going to do the same thing and gain access through this front panel to the touchless sensor and touchless sensor control board. I've taken the front cover off. We're now looking at the back. I have my multimeter still on continuity, and as you can see, it's reading a closed circuit. I do not have it on the audible beep mode right now to save your ears from the screeching while we're doing this video. Up here you see our touchless sensor and our touchless sensor control board. What we're going to do real simply to diagnose whether we have a control board issue a wiring circuitry issue or a touchless sensor issue is we're going to first disconnect the 3 wires from the touchless sensor. As you see, I'm still reading a closed circuit, so we know this touchless sensor is not giving a false input to the control board. The last thing that I'm going to do, disconnect one of the trigger wires from the control board down here, and you see now my circuitry up to the dispense control board is open. So at this point, I know I have a failed closed relay on my touchless sensor control board. So today we would need to replace this touchless sensor control board, and that should fix our continuous filling or continuous dispensing issue that we were seeing. I hope this video helped clear up some confusion and misconceptions on how this machine works for the dispense circuit. Whether you have a machine not dispensing at all or continuously dispensing, you now should have the knowledge needed to go ahead and figure out the root cause. From all of us here at Manitowoc Ice and the Technical Services Department, we appreciate you tuning in to another Ice Tech FAQ. Leave a comment below for a request on what you'd like to see next, and we'll try to make it happen. Thank you again. Like and subscribe for more content.